Hello, everybody. It's a big pleasure to be with the Poultry School audience again. We have a very nice program today. Here with us is Mr. Chongxiao Chen. I don't know if I did right, but Sean Chen, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me here today.
Okay, so I have the pleasure. I met Sean back September. I was in a Animal Welfare Summit, and I have the chance and the very nice moment to meet Sean in a dinner, and we have a very nice conversation and really capture in that time, really capture my attention what we're gonna be talking today. Right now, Sean is a professor and is a extension specialist in the University of Georgia, and he has a lot of focus in nutrition.
Yes.
So, Sean, tell us, you have been almost 10 years in the USA after you graduate from China around 2014. Tell us how those 10 years have been in the USA and where your passion for poultry come from.
Yeah, sure. I'm originally from China, so I did a DVM degree in China Agriculture University. So by the time I'm working with small animals most of the time. And then later, around the second, third year during my vet school, I start working with a little bit chicken, mostly focused on the backyard, on the coccidiosis. And since then, I start developing this whole relationship with chicken producers and dive into this field. And then in 2000 and 2014, I graduate. Then I start thinking about my past, like where I want to go. With increasing interest in the poultry side, actually I decided, okay, let's do poultry science. So at the time, I came to the US and start my PhD at the University of Georgia Poultry Science Department and working on poultry nutrition mainly by the time. Later, I graduate in 2019 and work as a postdoc for 1 year and a half in the same department, also with the same professor, Dr. Wu Kim, mainly working on, bone health related projects in both laying hen and broilers. In 2020, I was hired by the NC State, start working with the turkey parasites for 2 years over there as a faculty. And later, 3 years ago, I was hired back by the University of Georgia Poultry Science Department, become a poultry nutrition assistant professor and extension specialist. So back to the poultry nutrition world again, same department. It's like a circle. So altogether has been like 10 years for me in the poultry science field. I'm really enjoying working in different fields, especially bridging the, poultry health and nutrition world together and working on some project in this field. And also a lot of education related, extension related program in my position at this moment. Yeah.
Well, what I know, Sean, is that also China is very strong in the agriculture universities, right? They
Yes.
are very famous that they have a strong programs, and I think how was the fit from how you fit from the system down there and then feeding in the USA system? Do you that process was easy for you or you struggled a little bit?
Yeah, it's because I'm not really trained as animal science student by the time.
Hmm.
So most of the things I'm focused on like physiology, biochemistry, disease in small animals. I remember I only have a one nutrition course by the time in the vet program.
Wow.
But fortunately, I was working with a professor in poultry nutrition from animal science department at the time. So I learned from him a lot on the applied nutrition side of it. So when I moved to US, completely switched to the poultry nutrition world. First time raising chickens by myself, all these things going on. It is not really easy transition for me for the first year. But my, lab mates, my professor, and also the farm crew really helped me out a lot. I still remember the farm crew told me, if you're really confused how to raise a chicken, you know what you can do? You can just grab a chair, sit in a chicken house and watching them, and they will tell you everything they need. how they like the water line head, how they drink and eat. I did that. I actually learned a lot just by observing them. So also
Observation.
get more confident to raise a chicken because they told you everything. So since the first trial I did or first independent, flock I raised, from there to later, it's a much easier and smooth transition. But definitely my training in China on the physiology related biochemistry and also the disease part of it really helped me out to understanding more in depth on the nutrition side, how it works internally, from the theory side of it, how the nutrition work, other than looking into the performance, the calculation side of it. So yes, it's a not easy transition, but it's definitely contribute to, what I learned in nutrition here. Yeah.
Talking about nutrition, I already asked you this question when I met you in Atlanta
Uh-huh.
about your nutrition, noodles, dumplings, rice. How you handle that? How you handle that in the US? I think that you cook a lot at home, or have you find some nice restaurants similar to China?
Yes. Oh man, I love food. I love, looking for different kind of food here. Fortunately, like in Atlanta area or Georgia area, we have Duluth. Is a city very close to Atlanta, like 30, 40 minutes away. We have a second largest, Korean town over there. A lot of
Oh,
Asian food, a lot of Korean food, fantastic. I've been able to find my hometown cuisine over there, and a lot of
wow.
and selection over there. Definitely, if you come to this area again, we should, go to one of the restaurants together to try some my hometown food. A lot of options out there. You can name it, from a hot pot to the traditional food, all the way. You can find everything over there. Yeah.
I think, well, I think that we're laughing about that, but in my experience, I have been expat in different countries in my professional career. But the thing that the, the food and feeling a taste of home is important in the transition,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
Sometimes the food is like a warm and that taste that at least give you a little sense of being home is important
Hmm.
when you are drastically removed from an environment and coming to another country.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of this conversation. So, Sean, part of this program and this time is you to show us about this poultry nutrition hub. I find this very interesting. I think that you guys are doing a very different job and very enthusiastic, and you have a different proposal. And why don't you share a little bit to our audience what about this Chen Lab and your newsletters and what you are doing? And our main goal really is to connect what you are doing with our audience and to provide value to the industry. So I find that what you are doing right now, it can provide value, communication, and a lot of education. So if you can share a little bit of how the audience can go into your poultry nutrition hub and explain us a little bit what information they can find there. I think that you also are doing some things in Spanish and Portuguese, so that's fantastic, and I think that's can provide a lot of value.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this. And I really enjoy several comments you make about the gap on the communication between, academia, industry, and the general public. So the reason we build up this poultry nutrition hub is really to bridge all these, aspects together to have a place to share the professional and also lay back information in poultry nutrition with the general audience. So if you don't mind, I will share my screen to show you the website I have
Yes,
right. Can you see my screen?
yeah. You to all the audience, you can go to poultrynutritionhub.com, and then you can
Yes.
find this a lot of material. So, Sean, you can go and introduce to your webpage.
Yes, sure. So this is our main page for the Poultry Nutrition Hub. And here we have several tabs for you to, look through. The first thing I want to introduce is a newsletter hub. So we're actually developing this poultry nutrition newsletter for mostly professional nutritionists from industry or corporate nutritionists. So I will, everything is on this website. We're also distributing these newsletters through the email on monthly basis. If you're really interested to subscribe, you have a subscribe button on this website. Just a click and put your information in. You'll receive this newsletter, on a monthly basis. I just want to show you one of them to see what we have in the
Exactly.
newsletter. Yeah. So here, for example, the last issue is on February. We have a March coming up really quick. Once you reach to this page, you will see we have English, Spanish, and Portuguese,
Wow, that's very important.
sections. Yes, we're trying to, reach more audience, worldwide, especially like Brazil has a number two poultry production, have a lot of producers out there, like Mexico, a lot of Latin American, even European country producing chicken. So that will capture much more audience. I'm not Spanish or Portuguese speaker, so I will use the English to show this. We do have
Okay.
a group of native speaker in the lab to really translate and proofreading every single material we produce. But now I want to show you this English version. First, we put them in a PDF format, so you can download, keep in your phone, on your computer, and access them easily at any time, anywhere. But also you can read this on the website. So look into this whole newsletter. We have been improve the formatting, make it easy to read on different device, and also put a little bit touch of a UGA color and the style over here. So now at the front, we have a picture. We also encourage you to reach out to us, send us the pictures. We can make story out of it. For example, this one, we make a trivia for everyone to, increase this kind of interactive, communication with our audience. Basically, this one is talking about different form of the feed and what it means and what chicken eat different kind of feed, right? I also have this editorial to summarizing what we have in this newsletter. The key point we have is to summarizing what kind of nutrition research we captured on monthly basis. So let's back up a little bit. The key components for this newsletter is we summarizing the newly published peer review poultry nutrition research across different journals and concentrate them into an easy to read format for you to capture what the newest research happens in this field. This is a lot of work behind of it. So at first, as you can see, we do a comprehensive research using our search equation. If you don't mind, I can show you just a little bit. Ooh, it's probably not showing up here, but we have a really comprehensive search equation to capture all the research published in this month, right? So for this one, we have 140 new research for the month,
Wow.
and 35 from Poultry Science, 30 from Italian Journal of Animal Science, and also 12 from Journal of Applied Animal Research. We list the top three, but we have a much more. Click here, you can see the complete list if you want to see what is being published. And from there, for this issue, we handpicked 17 studies from different species, as you can see here, and also different type of research, including the meta-analysis, literature review, that I believe is worth to share with different group, especially some really nice information, fundamental research in this field that you can read through, from it. That's from a 14 research institute from 10 different countries. We're really capturing the research internationally, not only for the US, and also summarize them into several pages for you. So here,
And for putting all this together, you have like a committee, like you decide what information to put, and because at least this, I may know there is a lot of information out there.
yes, here's the editorial committee here. So I personally do the research and filter through all these journals. Using our search equation, we'll capture around 1,000 different paper. I have to manually screen out some of non-related paper, especially some keyword overlap with engineering word. For example, if I put laying layers or laying hen, it may capture the layers from engineering standpoint. So I have to filter through that by myself, and then I will handpick the top 17 to 20, papers. I will distribute into these paper into these graduate students as a team. So they will start summarizing to have the first draft and send back to me. I will spend another 6 to 8 hours to review all these summaries and reading this paper again to make sure we get accurate information on the newsletter, and also revise some of our language style to make sure it's easy to read for the audience. And that will be form our initial, draft. And then later, Federico will be the person do the formatting and put everything together and translating them into the Spanish and the Portuguese. Once they're being translated, the Spanish version will go to the Nicholas, who is a native Spanish speaker, to do a proofreading, and the Portuguese will go to the Alison, who is a native Portuguese speaker, to do a proofreading. Then everything will come together as a final version. And along this process, we're also going to put several other components. I can show you later what is on the newsletter. Yeah, that's the kind of
How
whole process.
long, have you been doing this newsletter?
Oh, it's been 3 years. The first day I get on board for this job, we're still doing this until today. But you can see the first version compared to the version today is different. There's a lot of improvement going on along the way. At the beginning, we do a really rough search because we don't have a systematic searching. We just search on the Google Scholar and capture whatever we can see. But later we start searching more comprehensively and selecting them with more strategy. Like the newest version going to push out next month, we add another 20 keywords, uh, including sustainability, artificial intelligence, carbon footprint is a new concept in poultry nutrition. As feed contribute to a 70% or even more towards the carbon footprint, things like that. I think it's important to capture these keywords for the nutrition research, along with the salmonella, some of the health components into the research. So we want to expanding this capture, for the audience more comprehensively, uh, for the readers. Yeah. So it's keep improving over the time. Yeah.
And what's the main vision and goal of you guys putting this newsletter and this effort and all these hours? What is your main passion? What is your main goal of sharing this material?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One thing we think is important, especially when these top-notch like nutritionists or the people who's in this world, especially people in the industry, don't really have a lot of time to sit down reading papers, keep up with nutrition research in academic work. But this summary gave them a possibility to capture and keep update with these, what research going on in the academic work. It's really important to inspire a new idea for this group of people. That's the kind of really motivate us to keep producing this, and we also get a lot of positive feedback, not officially, more like running into each other saying, "Hey, Sean, thank you for the newsletter," and even people recognize our team saying, "Oh, are you the team produce this newsletter?" It's really good. So it's kind of really inspiring to us to keep working on this. Also, meanwhile, it's benefit to our group as well by actively reading these new, publications. As myself, as a student, to keep up with what's going on in the field, to inspiring our research program at the same time. I think it's really benefit both group by continuously doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that at the beginning of the conversation that we have today, you mentioned one thing, and I think that you have that perception also is the generation of information and then going into the practical way. Because one thing is a paper and one thing is doing research in a university, or when you have all the resource and you can, let's say, manage a lot of events like temperature or densities. But when you go really to the commercial and in the large scale, let's say producer, maybe a challenge.
Yep.
So I think that also you have that thoughts on the radar that also you want the information to be practical. How do you mix that in your equation?
Yes, for sure. A lot of research can be conceptual in the research setting, translating into the real world can be very different, right? As you mentioned, that's a really good point. From our research standpoint, our team doing a lot of applied research. When now we're doing research, we talk to the commercial nutritionist to check on the feed formulation, check on the study design to make sure what we do is matching what people are actually doing in the field want to hear from us, and that can apply to the field. From the newsletter standpoint, when we do the selection on the research, we also keep this in mind to have some useful information that worth people to know, from industry, and also summarizing them in a way not really focus on the methodology, but also but focus on the outcome of research, what can be used for the people to bridge this gap. But as a team, we do put a lot of effort to try to convert the knowledge from academic to the general public or industry as much as we can. We're still learning along this process all the time. That communication is not like a click, you got it. It takes time to really think about the language you put in, uh, to think about how you deliver this message. Actually, that's about one of the things we are currently developing at this moment. At the very beginning, you may see this whole advertisement out here. We're developing a poultry nutrition 101 online course for the general
Yeah,
public.
exactly.
Yes, to really capture the audience who is interested to learn nutrition, who is interested to understanding what is going on in the nutrition world and have some fundamental knowledge in nutrition. That will be the course for you. We try to put the language in a way suitable for the general public, but also not missing the accuracy and in-depth of knowledge to really dive into the theory of nutrition all the way to the application of nutrition in the field, why we do things in a certain way, how nutrition works, and how to apply the theory to the real production. So that will be the course we are developing, and hopefully this course can bridge some knowledge gap or the need from this group of people, in the industry or in the general public. Yeah.
So this nutrition course, when is gonna be available?
That's a really good question. We're trying really hard to push this out. I did promise this one in another interview saying we're going to launch everything by March. To be honest, we're a little bit behind. We are getting two modules out right now, but we are working really hard to do this. Probably in the next month or two, we will have several modules coming out. So by the time we'll launch them officially, and then as you dive into the course, we will have a more module come along the way. So it will be, leaving section, gradually have everything out for you to, study and learn. I also want to mention why it takes so much time for us to push this out because this is not a traditional course that I make a video and talking about this. It's actually very interactive. You are not only just sit there and listening, you have to click here and there to follow the flow, to answer the quiz or interact with the content on the screen to really keep your focus on the knowledge we deliver. So it will be much more interactive compared to traditional course that you may see in different place. That's the reason is it takes so much time to build up something like that. And also we spend a lot of time on the animation to make sure we show, let's say, protein structure in a way that really visualize it, that you see, oh, that's a protein, that's how the amino acid connect together to build protein. So that's it really takes time to pull out. That's the reason it's kind of slow, but we hope the effort is worth it and we can have something that people can go back again and again, for a long time to refer to it, saying, okay, that's the best place to learn nutrition, you know. So that's kind of our goal. And eventually
Perfect.
we'll bring, industry people to review this again to keep improving over the time. So we'll be continuously improve the course over the time. Yeah, yeah.
So perfect. So you can keep walking us into your page.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, so just briefly show you on this newsletter. Again, this is the kind of content we have for the summary. You can see we categorize them by the broilers, layers, quails, ducks, reviews based on
Perfect.
the graph. And also you do have a link here you can click through. It will bring you to the paper directly, and then you can read the whole paper if something really captures your interest. Most of them is open access, so you have no problem to download them or read them. So, and also we put a little bit touch on UGA, right? We're highlighting the grad student right now. We're also highlighting the researcher periodically, what they are doing in the UGA Poultry Science department, what they are studying over there, just showing, the next generation of poultry scientists out there. We also spend some time, I go through the industry news from multiple websites to capture around 4 to 5 news I think is worth to know from industry side. So you can just quickly capture
Great.
what's going on in the industry. Again, you can click through these links to read the whole news. I do give a really short summary of what is going on over there as well. And at the last, we also have this poultry event. This is something I'm also really proud of. We probably have the most comprehensive calendar for the poultry event, mostly for the US, but we also capture some important international poultry conference. So you have the list by month by month. You also have the link to go for the registration of the page where you can read where the event come from. We update on the, monthly basis. And thank you the, Nicholas and Federico really helping, the team to work on this updating, to, rearrange the formatting, trying to roll off some event being happen and put a new event over here. So you have the most updated event calendar for you on the business planning. So meanwhile, we also accept if you have some event which is for the general public, just send me an email. I can help you to put on it to as a part of a calendar. If it's an annual event, we'll keep rolling it. We'll put this TBD over here, just to let people know you have this coming up. Maybe not decided on the date or location yet. But again, I know some of our company already use this as an official document for their business planning to make sure they have a no conflict time for certain workshops or meetings during the year. So it's pretty
Yeah,
useful.
I think that you already have a base of event, but that's a lot of work, Sean.
It
Putting
is.
all this together. Yeah. Huh?
It
And
is. It
time and
also help us too. I encourage students to look into the event if something interests to them. They definitely can, get into it, especially for the one who is close to graduation to need more intense networking going for the job search. So it's really helpful for everybody. Yeah, yeah. So
perfect. Okay.
good.
We will
So
keep going.
yeah. So that's kind of pretty much everything for the newsletter we have right now. Um, so again, if you're interested, go to Newsletter Hub. You can always subscribe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also
And
work
then you have that
on
feed
the
mixer.
feedback. Yes, I have a
What is that?
feedback. FeedMixer is a cell phone feed formulation app on your cell phone that you can formulating a feed on by yourself. This is not targeting the commercial production, mostly for the small flock or the people who are interested into formulating their own feed, in the backyard as well. So this developed together with the World Poultry Foundation. They paid all the fees for the developer. We are, stay together to come up all these ways how to design it. And I personally building the ingredients library, the nutrition requirements, and also all the pictures, logo design, everything together. So it's definitely a lot of effort to put over there. So you can see that some pictures you can select the different breed, you can put the ingredients in, and then you can, do your own feed formulation. And then by the end of the day, it will tell you it's a meat requirement or not. You can send this to your um, email, and then, if you want to check on the computer or you just check off the phone. Again, we also have English, French, Portuguese, and Spanish available for the broader audience. I also leave my contact over there if you have any questions on the nutrition or have a trouble with the feed formulation. You can always reach out to us. We also have the second version come up earlier this year to give additional function called the customized ingredients. You can put the additional ingredients by yourself on the app to compensate if it's something we don't put in the app. But we already have a pretty good comprehensive ingredients library over there. But that's just give you a more ability for this. It's available on the
Wow.
App Store and the Google Play. So no matter you have an iPhone or Android, you can always work on this. We also have a training video on the YouTube. You can click and learn how to use the formulation app. It's also
Oh, that's
four
fantastic.
different versions: French, Portuguese, Spanish, and English. So that should be pretty good resources for you to learn how to use it. Yeah, but I'm always more than happy to help if you have any questions on this app.
If you have time.
Yes, yes. Actually, we do have a lot of
You're all
us
over. You're
come
all
come
over, huh?
in saying, "Hey,
Huh?
Sean, I want to add this ingredient to the app. Can you help me out?" I learned a lot from this process. I heard so many weird ingredients I have never heard before. I never looked into it. So it's definitely learning opportunity for me as well. But again, I have to say all the numbers I put in is kind of an estimate because each ingredients in different country, different part of the world can be different. So that's
Exactly.
my best close number I can give from multiple resources. But still, that's a risk. It's maybe not the best performance formulation or the best formulation you can get. But still, I think it's good to use and reconfirm some of the formulation you have. Just to see what's over there. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just share at the beginning that you have been in the US for the 10 last years. And in all the research and in all the interaction that you have with the industry, which are maybe the two main changes that you have been experiencing in the last 5 years in the nutrition, let's say, aspect? Is something that really have captured your attention that has been a major change in on the nutrition side?
Yeah, that's a really good question. To be honest, I haven't really to look back what has been changed, but I'm also learning along the way. Start gaining more and more knowledge by talking to these industry people. One thing, people are really looking into more precise formulation compared to the past, right? We
Mhm.
already been switching from this cold crude protein to more detailed amino acid ratios and how to fine tuning these amino acids. Uh, you know, Not only the first three limiting, but also down to the fifth, seventh, eighth, even beyond that. So we really dive into that route. And also we are start considering the energy interaction and amino acid interaction, how much energy I should put in, how much amino acid I should put in, how they
Yeah,
interact with each other. That's become more and more popular, especially if you think about the money you putting more energy in the diet or the money you put in the put more nutritional, amino acid in over there. That's a model you can play with to have a best, you know, lowest cost on the feed and best return model for raising the birds. That's what I hear the more and more. Along with it, the sustainability standpoint of the poultry production also start kicking
yeah,
in. People start thinking about it. We're still in an initial stage on this part because some of measures actually kind of conflict each other. If you increasing make it more environmental friendly, it's maybe more expensive. If you go to more animal welfare, higher animal welfare standards, you may produce more carbon footprint and also more expensive. We're still trying to find a balance, on the sustainability to have a more sustainable poultry production. But also, the whole non-nutrition world, economic, the ingredients variability, transportation, shortage on the labor, and also the whole COVID and change on the politic, everything is actually change the way how we do nutrition as well. So to be honest, a lot of time when I ask like any challenge for you to a nutritionist, most of the time the challenge they have is not nutrition, it's something else. It can be transportation, can be the ingredients variation, can be the economics, all the other things can be labor or the health standpoint.
Exactly.
So you can never just think about nutrition by itself. It has to be everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not a nutrition expert,
Hmm.
but you should make a comment before that every country has their different access to different nutritional material. Let's put it in that way.
Yes.
When you say transportation, economics,
Hmm.
accessibility,
Hmm.
so this nutrition dialogue needs to be very open and very updated. A lot of discussion, a lot of research, and a lot of new crops. And I think that China, India, and other countries they are trying with another type of ingredients
Hmm.
all over. But I think that what maybe some things work in the US because you have some accessibility to some material here. Maybe in Mexico there is not the same, let's say, frame.
Hmm.
And we talk about Brazil. So
Hmm.
the nutrition aspect is very dynamic. It's very dynamic.
Yes, it is. It is very, and also, I would say the people who know nutrition the best also always the frontline nutritionists in different companies. The raising birds on daily basis, they have a huge data sets what they do and what the feedback from the flock on these different formulation on nutrition or feeding program, right? But this information are often not shareable. It's more like private data from each company. Um, so each company has their own data site. But in general, as a nutrition world, we don't really access all these, resources at the same time. Um, you know, that's the one I think that's one of the barriers. Like, as an academic standpoint, how we really put the things together to move forward from nutrition world. But I think a lot of nutritionists do a really good job communicating with academic and providing the support to us to let us understanding what is happening, what is going on, and what this trend looks like. But again, that's what it is. Is all the data is won't be 100% transparent in general for different companies. But hopefully, what we do as this group can at least bring all the research data upfront and make it shareable across to different group and continuously building more data for general public. On this standpoint. Yeah. Yeah.
For you, and I like this type of question is for you coming from China, coming to the US, having all this academic, let's say, environment, there is some legacy that you, Sean, would like to give to the poultry industry globally. There is
Wow.
some dream, some vision that after what you are doing, working with your friends, because I don't want to say students, but you're making what I see is that you have a family in your team is something especially from you that say, wow, I want to provide this value to the industry.
Yeah, I have a lot of people in this field I really look up to and did an excellent job in a similar position, like, Dr. Nick Dow, Dr. Jim Pasty from the same department. I hope one day, whatever the extension materials or like the articles I produce can become something classic that people go back saying, "Oh, Sean did something saying this is should work in this way," or this information really really interesting to everybody. I hope I can produce something like that for people, to look into. And also, I hope I can continuously build up on my knowledge, become a knowledgeable person in this field that people, whenever they're running into some issues or have some questions, you can think of me saying, hey, we probably can ask Sean Chen. Maybe he has some different ideas, things like that. So I want to become a person like that, but I know it takes the time to reach there. But I'm working on it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So, Sean, thank you very much for the time. Thank you very much for the passion that you're putting on all these projects. I think that you are providing value, not just for the let's say USA industry, but I think global. You doing your material in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. You are covering a lot of the industry, and I know personally some of your team, and I think you are doing a very nice job, and that's was part of this time showing to our community that you guys are doing a movement, you are doing something different. And part of our spirit also is that through these videos, you can get connections and people reaching you and providing more ideas, providing more dialogue. And I think this is part what I hear in these 40 minutes so many times from you. I'm
Hmm.
learning. And that's a really unique skill and attitude in life that you are open to learn. Doesn't matter in what position or in what chair you are sitting. That mentality of being open to open discussions and to learn, I think is something key in our industry that we need to keep providing that space to keep learning, Sean.
Yeah, thank you so much for your comment. Yes, it is. And also, we are really open team. As you said, we're trying to reach more audience, try to providing the information to a broader group. So again, if you have any questions or any comments, always feel free to send me some feedbacks or just to reach out. We can always discuss and learn from each other all the time. Yeah.
What I cannot give feedback is about your Chinese cuisine. I haven't tried any noodles or rice that you told me that you cook at home, but maybe sometimes.
Yeah,
Okay,
sometimes.
Sean. Okay,
Yeah.
Sean. So thank you very much to our audience. I hope that you find this presentation interesting. And when we share this, we will provide all the links and all information where you can find the newsletter, when you can find Sean, and let's keep moving forward. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.